Hello, it is I, mlloyd, and I'm an artist, and my brand is mlloyd artist, and so is my Instagram, and my TikTok, and my YouTube, and of course Twitch. And yeah, welcome. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and all the bots. It's good to have another stream. Yeah, so at the start of every show, I often go through a little bit about what I've done in previous streams, and yeah, let's have a look. So in some of the previous streams I've done, I did an iPhone case. That was my very first stream, so kind of weird, kind of cool. I liked that one. That was a bit of fun. I also did in my second stream a little drawing where I drew without purpose, which is this one. It includes a bit of slime, it includes a few blocks and a weird thing and stuff that reminds me of sand, but maybe others don't really remind me of that. Yeah, keep that from Anakin. He doesn't like sand, does he? Not at all. And then in my third and fourth stream, I actually made this thing, which I'm very proud of. I really like this one, actually. So this is a piece I call Strata Yolk Flame, called Yolk Flame because it's got a little bit of yolk that's kind of shaped like a flame. A cool name if I say so myself. And recently I did a really cool piece. So this piece was actually born of a failed piece, if anything. So I started off with, I might go to this one that better demonstrate it. I was going to start like a really big poster. So and on every one of these little crosses there would be a cylinder with a vine and a block, and in each little cross I'd have a shape that's just slightly different. And yeah, I sort of got throughout the entire 2.5 hours I got up to 5, and then I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. It was a pretty boring stream. Just drawing a cylinder, a vine and a block over and over and over again. So I thought I'd switch it up in the next one. So I scrapped that idea, and in the next stream I decided to add a few more elements. So I sort of drew these little things and I put them into a seamless pattern with the other things. So if I go back, the seamless pattern ended up looking like this. Since the last stream I actually added a bit of shadow, so I didn't have any shadows previously, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. And then I just added a blue background kind of roughly and loosely, and this of course would all go on to one of my products, which is let's see if I can find it, this one here. So it's actually a duffel bag, and I thought as I finished the stream I thought, well, this is a bit of a dumb idea. Why would I make a duffel bag at a time where there's a pandemic virus and no one can travel? Good planning if I say so myself. But it is cool, and I do like the look of it actually, especially some of the black sort of I don't know, framing a lot of the artwork. I think that's kind of cool as well. And what's even cooler is that if you go to my website mlloydartist.com, you can actually buy this product along with a lot of the other things I've made on Livestream. Not everything, but most things. And so if I do this, I should be able to show you. So I've actually changed my website a little bit as well. So now there's a big old block saying live. So if you click that, you can see everything I do, including my YouTube channel. And on my YouTube channel, you can basically see all of the previous streams. So everything I stream tonight will go there, sort of like a backup, just a, I don't know, for like an archive. That's what I call it, I think, the live stream archive. You can also find other links to the other things I do. So I'm on Patreon, Skillshare, Instagram. You can even subscribe to email. I don't send any newsletters, so I should probably get rid of that. And yeah, Skillshare is kind of cool. If you hop into that, you can actually get, if you click this OK Sure link, you'll get a little link that gives you a month of Skillshare for free. So it's pretty cool. And that gives you not only my cool little course on how to make augmented reality sketches, but it also gives you the option of watching pretty much anyone else on that platform. There's some really talented creatives there, so you should definitely check it out. But I digress massively. So yeah, basically, along with all my other products like my iPhone cases and my backpacks and my bags, at the very bottom we have our live stream collection. And right here you can actually see that I've got the backpack up there. Now it looks like a pretty high price. Keep in mind that's Australian, so it'll be cheaper in other parts of the world. But yeah, it's actually really cool. A physical product, it'll be delivered directly to your door. I'm not sure how long it takes I suppose it depends on where you are. So definitely consider that. Might take a while to get, but it's pretty cool. And I like it. I think it's a neat little product, a neat little addition. So I've got a shirt, a phone, and a bag. It's a good little trio. But enough self-promotion. Let's talk about what I'm doing tonight. So this session is going to be a weird one. Basically, I am planning to do a style of artwork that I did before, and it's called Doodleblobs. So what's a Doodleblob, you ask? That is a good question. So if you want to know what a Doodleblob is, well, you're not the only one. I'm sure there's a whole group of people out there who are asking themselves that question this very moment. What indeed is a Doodleblob? Well, a Doodleblob is basically a drawing that starts off with just a few blobs. So it sort of starts off like this. And then what I do is I fill in the details. So I carve into it, I add little elements to it like 3D blocks and vines, and it's very much kind of my sort of thing. They're not designed to look like anything, they're all just really abstract and weird. And eventually, once I've done the entire outline, I'll sort of color it in. And so this is a finished one I did like a while back. I say a while back, it was actually early this year. And so yeah, it looks kind of impressive when it's all done. And so with that in mind, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do Doodleblobs. So this is probably going to be one of those things that sort of crosses from stream to stream. So I'm actually thinking of doing every Friday night a Doodleblob session. And that's where I kind of work on one blob, and I'll color it in the same stream. And mind you though, that's if this stream is a success. So only time will tell, and only this progress will tell. So let us stop procrastinating the real show, and let's do it. Let's create a Doodleblob, our first Doodleblob. Well, actually, what we are going to do, we're going to create our general composition. So I'm going to create a sort of like a mock, thing, if that makes sense. I'm going to just sort of create some circles here, just roughly for now. And you probably can't see that too well, but that's okay. I can zoom in. And so this is actually going to be sort of like a rough template for what I plan to do. And what I can also do, I can actually use Liquify if I find some bits are too big or some bits are too small. And yeah, like I said, it's not too strict at the moment, but I'll probably outline one of these. And then I shall, just start carving into it, which is kind of exciting. I'm actually looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this all day. I do enjoy making these artworks. They're kind of fun. I might do one in the middle here, like that. There we go. And I've got a bit of room for another one over in the corner. In fact, I'll make this one a little bit longer. I'll sort of make it wrap around like that. There's no rhyme or reason here. Just it's actually a really relaxing thing to do as well. And it gives me plenty of content for streaming. So I've recently been exploring ways to actually manufacture these products and these posters, because this is what I want this to eventually become, like a poster you can buy. I'm not sure if I want to go horizontal or landscape. Landscape and horizontal, the same thing. Not sure if I want to go landscape or portrait just yet, But yeah, well, yeah, definitely will be that sort of A size. So it should be able to go from like at least A3 and maybe A2 if I can do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm super excited. So now it's just a matter of figuring out if there's anything I don't like about this. So what I might do, I might extend that a little bit. I don't want to have too much empty spaces, and I'll probably expand this one like so. So the plan is every Friday night I'll do one of these blobs, one of these Doodleblobs, and I reckon it'll look pretty cool. And it'll be a bit of fun, I think. Good way to create sort of consistent content as well. Okay, then I've got to pick which one I actually want to start with. I'm thinking this one. I'm thinking this one's kind of cool. So I'm liking this. I think this is a good sort of layout. It feels kind of nice. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to outline my first Doodleblob. This is the moment of truth. Not really, I've already done this before. But let's create a Doodleblob. And I need a better brush. Let's do that. Let's go to Studio Pen. No, monoline. We'll do monoline. And I'll get rid of that line I just drew. And I'm going to call this outline 1. Cool. Now the trick with this one, I say trick, the challenge of this one is that I don't have a lot of layers to work with. I think I only have like, how many layers would it be? Probably about 3 or 4. So I'm probably going to have to either delete this layer pretty quickly, or I shall just, I don't know, maybe delete the layer but keep a copy just for, I don't know, maybe just in case. There we go. I sort of fucked up there. Alright, okay, cool. I've been trying to get into the habit of doing just more quick, concise strokes, just really seamless, quick strokes. But I don't know, I come from this background where I've sort of been sketching on my phone for years, and on my phone in public transport, so you're kind of like rocking around all the time, and so doing quick straight lines is not really, it's not really my background in a weird way. Okay, let's simply carve that out. So I've been making overlays again. I do enjoy I've got way too many overlays already. So I made this one the other day, and I kind of like it, but it's a bit hard to read the text, so I'm thinking maybe I'll change the color. But at the moment I think we'll return to purple swirl. That's a nice kind of look. But let's smooth this one out. And look who it is. It's Dr. O. Good to see you, man. Thank you for coming. You're here every stream. You don't have to. I do appreciate it, and I love seeing you here. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, like, thank you for coming. Really cool. So, oh, you love them. Well, that's great. That's good to hear. It means I'm doing something right. So today I'm doing a thing called Doodleblobs. So Doodleblobs is a thing I once did, and I'll just quickly go through it. I'm basically making these, and so every stream I'm going to focus on one blob. So I've just sort of made a rough template, and I'm going to work on one of them tonight. And I think every Friday night I'll kind of work on one, because these are really fun to do, because you can kind of take them in any direction. And I feel like those streams are kind of the ones I have the most fun with. So let's go to over here. There we are, Doodleblobs. I'm calling this Doodleblobs 2, the sequel. There we go. How are you, man? I hope you're well. Yeah, it is a good name. I hope you like the name of the stream as well. I've called it DoodleBlobs the Conspiracy, I think. I can't remember. But I remember really liking that. Okay, I'm gonna... Now, I think here, let's have a look. Yeah, this is the challenge of this piece. I've only got a total of 3 layers before the whole thing just goes, nope, no more. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this layer. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mute this layer, not mute, deselect. I'm going to grab this layer. And then I'm going to share this one as a PNG. I'm just going to put it in my photos album. And so now I've got that. I can kind of bring that back anytime I want, but I'm just going to delete it for now. There you go. But I've got this to work on. So this whole stream is going to be centered around this shape. I really enjoy Doodleblobs. It's a lot of fun. And people will think I'm mad. But there's just something so satisfying about drawing these things. And what I might do, I might even keep the other one up for reference, because that's always really good inspiration. I might go image, we'll go import, and we'll grab this one. Cool. So that gives me something to work with. So Doodleblobs are sort of a blob with shapes wrapped around it. And what else can I say about them? They've got shapes, they've got patterns embedded. You sort of carve into them. Yeah, and eventually, yeah, they become super detailed. But it all starts with one of them. Now I need to figure out how to get rid of this canvas. So I might take most of my inspiration from maybe this one. That's kind of cool. It's got a bit of everything. I shall switch off the reference for now. There we go. And this is the hardest part, beginning. So I hope lockdown is treating you well. I'm just doing my usual thing, just being creative and that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm having a bit of fun. I think when you're in lockdown, it's always good to have that passion, that little thing that you do, whether it be gaming or whether it be TV or film. Even just watching it, that's really cool. Just another week indoors, exactly. That's all it is. Very cool. Let's go like that. Now, I sort of made a promise to myself, like a couple of streams ago, that I would include more whistle sounds when I drew. So I'd do things like, but I don't. I don't know. I sort of I haven't done it. And I've also made a promise to myself to advertise more, because that was sort of my initial plan. Because you never know who might watch the YouTube replays. But you know, I keep forgetting to do that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's go like this. And then I shall add maybe one more. You know, it's funny because I realized I actually do really need that. After getting rid of that layer, I actually kind of need it, because I don't want it to overlap the other Doodleblob. So I might bring it back. I was going to be really clever there, but I've already reached my limit of 3 layers. That can't be true. What have I done? Merge it down. We'll go insert a photo. Go like that. Oh, wrong one. There you go. My iPad is not liking this project. It's too big. Too big. We'll go insert a photo. Oh, it's already not liking these layers, is it? We'll go like that. And I'll fit that to screen. And I'll put that underneath. So what I might do actually, because it might be a bit wise, I shall actually do some more outlines of the other Doodleblobs. And I think that'll just give me a bit of scope. In fact, what I could do, I could just do all of the Doodleblobs now. I think that would be a more appropriate way to work. And the truth is, even if I don't get these lines perfect right now, I'll probably polish them off in the stream that I'm actually working on each one. It also means that if one Doodleblob takes a little bit quicker than the others, I can kind of work on another smaller one or something, which is pretty cool. So this is actually a good idea. I like this. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll make the outlines for all of these. Yeah, I was mentioning earlier that I'm trying to get good at just doing like really succinct and seamless strokes, because what I usually do is I sort of draw too slowly, and when I do that I end up kind of the line gets like super wiggly and wobbly. So for example, if I draw really slow, it kind of, no, actually that didn't really didn't really do what I was trying not to do. Maybe I've got some really cool effect on my brush, or maybe it's just pro skills. It could be. It could very well be that. I've finally become pro. Okay. Awesome. So I've done a few of those. Let's just finish off these othered blobs. I was trying to think of a good word that would be like the plural of Doodleblobs. So like, you know how like you have a parliament of owls? I want there to be something for Doodleblobs. So I think I've ever used the Apple Pencil. Is it good compared to other styles? Good question. It's actually really good. Yeah. I mean, there is actually a lot of styluses out there, and some of them are really good. Like I think it's one of those things, the more you pay, generally the better you get. But yeah, there's a truth that with Apple's Apple Pencil, because it is literally, because it's like packed full of sensors, and it does actually work directly with the chip inside. It works like, it's hard to describe, but essentially you get more accuracy and more responsiveness. And it's also a lot to do with the way iPad software is designed. So every now and then they'll sort of update a bit of the software to sort of speed up, or reduce latency of the Apple Pencil. So it's actually really impressive. For a consumer product, it's amazing. But yeah, not to sort of shit all over the other really good styluses and sort of tablets out there as well. But it's kind of funny because I sort of learnt to sketch with my finger. So I kind of do most of my sketching on my phone, funnily enough. And it's okay, you can shit them. I probably can just shit them, can I? No one else is here. It's no, I don't know. It's interesting, man. Like I feel I don't want to shit on them because there's a sort of respect I have for them. Because there is a benefit to sort of those Wacom tablets in the sense that it's sort of better for your ergonomics. Whereas with an iPad, you kind of you're sort of always sort of crouched over or hunched over a tablet. In a way, even though a lot of these things are moving in the direction of sort of displays built into what you're drawing, so you can sort of feel like you're drawing on pen and paper. In a way, I feel like, I don't know, maybe 10-20 years ago when they invented those pen display things, they kind of got it perfect. Although it is kind of disorientating, sort of staring up at the screen and drawing somewhere else for many people, and I'm certainly one of those. I think the more practice you get, the better you get. It's actually true. I sometimes find myself doing that here when I'm sketching, because what I'll end up doing is I'll sort of be staring at my monitor, and I'll be sort of watching this video of me drawing. So I'm kind of I'm actually not looking at my own hand, I'm looking at the screen while I'm drawing sometimes. Not all the time, but it's kind of funny. It's a weird thing. So, but it definitely helps with your sort of, I suppose, relaxing your back every now and then. So I remember there were some really cool games announced this morning. So I hear there's a new Spider-Man game, which is pretty cool. I really liked the first Spider-Man game, actually. I thought that was sick. And I haven't played that Miles Morales one. But the first game was awesome. So I hear there's a new version of that, which I'm kind of looking forward to. I think that would be cool. I think that company is now owned by Sony, which is kind of cool. So I say it's kind of cool. It would be good if they were sort of cross-platform and people who own Xbox and everything can own them. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely cool that you got a large, I suppose, game developer supporting I suppose, financing these smaller ones so that they stay in existence. Very cool. Cool. That's the general shape of my Doodleblobs. There we go. I can go now. That's the end of the stream. That's enough for today. Okay, let's add something to it. Now, can I do... No, I can only do... I don't know why. It's only saying I can add 2 layers, but that's going to be pretty restrictive. So we'll see what we can do there. I might have to just sort of close and reopen the whole thing. So what shall I do here actually? I'm sort of drawing something instinctively, just sort of wrapping around here. I like the idea of having this kind of, this pattern of blobs that kind of wrap around the shape. Which is a hard thing to describe, but let's see how I go. So if I go like this, and then maybe I can do another one like that. No, I didn't like that one. Let's do that again. There we go. Got to be precise with this imprecise drawing. It matters. Okay. What if I go like this again? Just like that. And then I can kind of draw a little blob like that. And then a longer one which kind of stretches a little bit over like that. And then with this one, I'll just kind of go like that. And then we'll begin erasing this sort of edge here. Try and give it a bit of, yeah, try and make it look kind of cool. And then what I want to do, I want to add like a little pattern within these things. So usually when I add a pattern to a round object, I'll kind of embrace the, I'll try and create a contrast. So I'll usually create a sort of sharpish pattern when I'm in a sort of more organic shape. But I don't know, sometimes I break the rules. A rebel without a cause. You also noticed there was a Wolverine game announced, which sounded pretty cool. Although I was never a huge fan of the X-Men films, but hopefully these end up faring a bit better. If it's anything like that Spider-Man game, I'll be certainly interested. Yeah, I think a triangle. Maybe, man. I don't know why. I'm sort of getting a feeling of deja vu. Something about that recommendation of a triangle that's just ringing a bell. I don't know what it is. Let's have a look. So I tried making a TikTok video again today. And I think when did I release it? I probably released it around 4 o'clock. Release. It's like I'm talking about like an album. I dropped a TikTok little clip, and yeah, it got like 0 views, and I have no idea. I officially have no idea how to use TikTok. It's official. It makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. You sort of add these hashtags, but just nothing happens. It's really weird. I'm thinking maybe I'll just ditch it and just focus on maybe using Instagram Reels and stuff like that. Because I did an Instagram Reel recently, and it got like 3,000 plays, which isn't bad, not bad. Didn't get many likes, but it got lots of plays, and that's pretty cool. So I might try doing that more frequently, and then I can get some people in. So I'm sort of creating a bit of a drop shadow on this sort of triangle edgy pattern thing here. And it doesn't look too bad. Although I think I wasn't ambitious enough with this zigzag, so I might do that again. Need to have a little bit more, a more ambitious zigzag. There you go. That's what I should have called this stream. A more ambitious zigzag. So Dr. O says, kids in TikTok these days. Yeah, I know. I'm a child at heart, man. Trying to make sense of the world. Trying to figure out these TikTok dreams. It's so strange though. It literally is just a bunch of people in their track pants, like just sort of doing really boring stuff. I was watching this one TikTok thing, and it was actually a live video, and I had no idea that TikTok even had live videos. And I was like, oh wow, maybe I can stream there and see if maybe that'll actually give me a following. And apparently you have to have like 1,000 followers to actually do it. But one of the TikTok videos I fell upon was just this sort of like really angsty teenager just like really bitching about some of her friends. It's like, so guess who called me last night? After everything we spoke about, and she's just sitting there in her room just like having a real like a real whinge. It was really funny. When I was a teenager in high school, I would never have had the confidence to just do that. That's such a, my God, really weird. The most like angsty thing I did online would be like posting a picture of John Howard and how I didn't like him. Or put like a Kevin07, he's my man kind of thing. Okay, let's go like that. I think this is a good start. I think this is, it's going somewhere at least. I'll probably add a little bit more complication to this blob. No, I'll definitely add a bit more complication, but I'll do perhaps a more, I'll probably start carving into it a little bit. Try and change it. It's a little bit too soft and organic at the moment. I feel like when I draw, I'm actually sort of making a cocktail. And if you don't know anything about sort of mixology, I think that's what they call it, isn't it? It's been a while since I did that little weird bar course. But when you're making a cocktail, basically there's sort of like a general goal of mixing your acidic stuff with your less, what's a reverse, base kind of stuff. And you can kind of, as long as you sort of create a sort of even balance, you can get a really nice cocktail. And so that's kind of how I see this. It's all about balancing things like your straight lines and your, oh, what's going on here? There we go. It's about sort of creating a balance between sort of sharp and softer elements. So now that I've done that, I'm going to probably create a bit of a border here. I say a border, it's not really a border at all. Something that kind of separates these like that. No, I think that's a dumb idea actually. I've gone down a YouTube rabbit hole of random coffee and cocktail making videos before. Super interesting. You know, that's cool, man. That's cool. I've never been into coffee, and I've never wanted to be. I've wanted to avoid the the curse of coffee drinkers, where you just spend like heaps of money on coffee every morning. But I must admit, there is something kind of cool about making coffee. I don't know if it's like the whole little coffee art stuff, like, and I don't know. They've also got cool names. Coffee names are always really cool. But yeah, cocktails are interesting, and I'd love to get better at making them. But also, it's just like coffee, it's a bit of an expensive habit to get into, because if you start getting into things, like if you start really enjoying certain flavors, then yeah, you're gonna have to buy all the spirits and you have to buy all the recipes. I suppose it's like anything though. The more you get into anything, the more expensive it gets. Just like art, really. The more you get into this, the more gear you end up buying. Okay, let's do that. Do I like what I've done there? Not really. I was trying to do a sort of mushroom thing, but it just didn't really seem to work. What I'll then do, I shall add a line, and I will actually go like that. Okay. So I want the line to be sort of hidden behind these smaller blobs, like that. Yeah, I think I'm liking that. I'm going to make this a little bit more inside though. And I shall get rid of that and maybe put the thicker line like that. Okay, cool. So this is sort of like doodling, but it's trying to doodle 3D shapes. So the more 3D you make it, I feel like the more impressive it becomes. Okay. Now this is a little bit weird, this one. So I'm gonna just sort of widen it out a bit. Okay, cool. That's not looking too bad. I'm liking where this is going. So I'm thinking what I'll do up here, I shall add maybe a 3D block. Like that. Actually, I really like that shape, so I'm going to stick with that. And then I'm going to go like so. I'm going to add a few of these. I'm getting the the bigger stringers vibe again. Ever since you mentioned it, all I can think about is every time I do like a square thing, it's always Bega stringers. Bega? I don't know. I'm Australian, I should know what that is. It's yeah, Bega making a comeback through the form of abstract art. Indeed. Bega reborn. Yeah, it looks okay. I might just harden that out. And what I could even do actually, I'm gonna do something a bit weird here. No, because then I have to do it in the interior of these things, and oh no, I don't. Actually, that'll work. And what I could even do, I'll have something coming out. And then I'll probably add a few more of these blocks. I'll make sure I got the right size line. And this is going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm going to see if I can get another square hole just sort of on the inside there. Actually, it won't be too difficult, because what I'll do, I love how I'm doing this all in one layer. It's not exactly the most the most professional way of drawing, actually. You should have as many layers as possible. But when I have these larger layers, well, you should draw in as many separate layers as possible, so you got that increased flexibility. But saying that, when you're trying to make a poster, you've got to kind of increase the size and then therefore reduce your layer count. It also becomes a bit of a challenge, sort of working with very little. And when I think about it, I always think about those traditional artists who kind of don't have the benefit of layers at all. So if they can do it, so can I. That's my motto. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. I'm actually tempted again to add a triangle just on the end there, like I did with that thing in my last stream. I'm going to take a little stretch and I'm going to just play a little advertisement. So yeah, on my website you can buy products, and all of these products are tailored to fit artwork. This one is a tote bag, so it's actually made with a reliable vegan leather strap, and yeah, it's actually got this nice little pocket on the inside that's good for things like keys, so good for your smaller items. And it's got this little magnetic snap closure, so it actually stays quite secure. One of my friends has this. They've gotten it drenched, actually, so it got completely drenched with water, and it actually worked really well. It does actually look pretty cool. But yeah, that's a cool product, and you can actually find that on my website. And keep in mind, all prices are Australian prices. That one is actually that product is actually made in Canada though. So yeah, you can buy it in other countries, and you'll probably save. I won't say you're going to save money, but you're essentially getting it'll be cheaper in other currencies. That's what I'm getting at. So don't be too put off by the Australian price, because the Australian dollar isn't great. It's a little bit disconcerting. I probably should have started my business in American dollars, and I don't think it's too late. I probably can change it some way. But I don't know, I was kind of concerned about taxes and things like that. There might have been some kind of issue there if I was using American currency for my Australian business. That might have been really weird. Let's go like that. This is kind of looking a bit strange. I like it. The more strange, the better. That's my motto. Let's create a sort of pattern, a bit of texture here, if you will. And there we go. Try to do something a little. I'm trying to sort of challenge myself and not stick too much to some of the cliches I'm used to. That's what doodling can be great for. It sort of helps you break out of your own habits and your own things. Okay. It's a bit too ridiculous, that one. I shall go like that. Yep. I'm actually wondering if I even like these things now. I'm kind of thinking I should have kept it pretty straightforward, but no, it's all right. It's not too bad. If I do that, maybe might make it look a little better. Oh, I'm not sure. It looks a bit messy. I'm going to go back. I'm going to undo it. I think there's something nice about having it more kind of connected to this shape. So I'm thinking I might just leave it. I do like that pattern though. I might sort of use that somewhere else. Just didn't quite work for this particular area. Let's go over here. Now I need something in this shape, but what I include in this shape is anyone's guess. So this particular area here needs something, but I don't know what to do. I'm feeling I can't do. You know what? Now's time to get some inspiration. So I could, I could do a hole actually, and if I do a hole I can kind of have something going in and then out somewhere else. In fact, what I could do is have this go through the hole and then sort of poke out on the other side. Right, there we go, that's what I'm doing. So a hole it is. So now I've got to decide if I want like a straight hole or a more organic hole. I'm thinking more organic, like that. And then I'm going to, how do I want to do this? I think I've got it a little bit too thick there. There we go. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to erase that and we're going to do a loop-de-loop. There we go. Just because we can. Cool. And then I'll have to create another hole somewhere else to actually have it poking out. God, that's weird. That's really unusual. I might even create a little thing like that. Just because I want to try and keep those branches on there. Make that a sort of repeating theme. Something I can repeat later on. Okay, so I'm thinking of actually doing a series of holes and having this little thing going in and out of them. I think that would be kind of cool. And I'm also thinking what I'll do, I might have a sort of pattern and I'll try it out here. But I'm liking the idea of having just a straight line pattern, sort of like so. I mustn't be afraid to sort of incorporate 2D doodles into my 3D Doodleblob, because that kind of looks really cool when you do that. I remember doing that a lot in the last one. Oh, I need a drink. Amazing. I feel like I'm getting more into water now. I'm becoming addicted to it. Right, okay, so I'm going to do that. Am I going to do that? Maybe not. Certainly, it's an interesting thing to do. If I create like a little thing like that, no, I'd rather have that filled in color. What I'll do, I shall just keep adding these lines for now. They don't actually meet up. They're just going all over the place. Let's get rid of those. I don't think they meet up either, actually. There we go. Sort of. That'll do. Cool. And what I'll do, I shall differentiate these with color when I get to that point. But yeah, I'm kind of liking where this is going. I think it's interesting. It's certainly interesting. It's got that. I think as I add some of the more finer details, like maybe to these holes, for example, if I just sort of add a few lines here like that, it'll certainly look a little bit better. I might smooth that out because I wasn't quite happy with that. And I'll do the exact same thing with these lines just here, just for consistency. And I must remember to add some detail to this sort of vine branch thing. That'll be kind of cool. Neat. There we go. Maybe I should add the other hole before I do that. I might go like that. So this is going to be a smaller hole just for some variance. Good, perfect. It's super weird. Okay, that's the fun of Doodleblobs. They're all super weird, and as you begin to fill it out, it just has such a level of detail and uniqueness to it. It's not often you see artworks that just try to fill everything. They often go a little bit too minimal, most art in my opinion. So maybe I'm following the wrong artists. That could be it. I'll go like this. I've actually been watching a lot of artists on Instagram recently because they do all these nice little live videos. And it's kind of funny, there seems to be a bit of a market in, I suppose, fan art. So people who draw like, I don't know, Captain America and sort of, I don't know, just comic book characters. Maybe people who do sort of cosplay kind of drawings and stuff. I didn't think there'd be a big kind of market in that, but apparently there is. It's making me wonder if I should sort of do commissions or something. That would involve me drawing normal stuff, and I don't know. I don't enjoy it. I like doing this weird abstract kind of stuff, and I feel like not many people sort of do this. They kind of, especially when you look on Twitch, everyone's kind of doing a lot of anime, and I'll say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Anime, making it takes a lot of skill I don't have, but there's just so much of it. There's so goddamn much of it. And I think there needs to be a little bit more different stuff. Whatever it is. Okay, that sort of vine thing's looking pretty cool now. I shall go for a thicker line. Try and match that vine and sort of thread the thing in and out of this one. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to have it coming in. So it's going to come out and then it's going to go back in here, and then maybe what I'll do actually, I'll have it sort of finish its story. Because these doodles do kind of have their weird stories in my head. Do you ever draw other styles or just stick to what you do? Good question. Sometimes I try different styles, but I usually just stick with what I enjoy. And I would be a better artist if I had a bit more discipline and I sort of did more different things, I suppose. I really want to kind of learn like how to draw bodies, like, you know, because there's a real talent to that. You sort of draw, you kind of start off with a stick figure and then you sort of add all the muscles on top of those sticks. And yeah, I should try and do it. I've got to find the time though. And I know some people sort of do all that learning while they're streaming. So they sort of trial and error, but I don't know, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. I think I'd rather show my best stuff online than on stream. So no self-portraits of the Queen anytime soon. Probably not, no. Well, I don't know. I can certainly trace things, and that looks kind of cool. I did a picture once of Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, and I sort of did it in my style, and it looks really cool. I should try and, I don't know where it is. It's probably in the sort of archives of my phone library somewhere. But yeah, usually when I do portraits, I sort of just trace a photo, but add things to it, like I'm kind of doing here. So that's the thing. But yeah, I'm afraid the Queen will have to wait. She ain't got the luxury of little Lloydie doing her sketch, because I'm sure that's what she's dying for. You know, that's what she's hanging on for life to to get a self-portrait from the great little Lloyd. There we go. The great Lloyd with his 15 followers. Okay, let's go like this, and cool. So I've been playing a lot of Far Cry 4 recently. God, I love that game. It's so good. I've almost finished it though. I think it, just due to the length of this lockdown, I've gone through it really quickly. There's just something so satisfying about like taking down those outposts. If you've never played it, I recommend it. But super fun. Okay. Now I've got to decide if I want to maybe elongate this worm thing, this tentacle thing. I probably won't. I'll leave it like that. Otherwise, I don't know, it'll dominate too much of this area here. And it's probably important we sort of keep it just a little bit separate. I want to keep a good healthy amount of sort of negative space in the entire picture. I would always try stealth and take out the alarms, but can never do it. Yeah, that's what I always try, and I'm terrible at it. Absolutely terrible at it. I feel like I always end up leaning towards the exact same strategies as well, of just sort of like just for like ages and ages, just sort of crouching around the outside of the camp and just sort of picking people off with a bow. Or I do that thing where you throw a rock and you distract someone into an area where you can safely kill them. But it's such a cop-out, because you see all these really good gamers play that game, and they're sort of doing things like jumping out of parachutes and landing on top of people and doing like little takedown kills that way. Or they're like kicking a like a barrel off like the top of a building, so it lands on one of their enemies, and then they sort of use that to sort of kill them. And it's such a clever thing, because there's so many options in that game. You can even do things like you can switch off the brakes, and then just if you've got like a car on a hill, you can kind of just roll it casually into your enemies. So there's a lot of flexibility with it. It's such a cool game. Oh man, I love it. Okay, I might add a few lines here to sort of match what I was doing down there. So sort of break from the pattern. There we go. Have you ever played Hitman? I have. I started playing the first one because I actually recently bought they've got like this collection, which is like all of the episodes in I think they released episodes individually, didn't they? So they sort of released smaller episodes at a time, and so I sort of played 3 or 4, and I don't know, I couldn't really get into it for some reason. It's a pretty cool game. It's clever in its own right, but I don't know, I couldn't really get into the whole it just didn't feel very fast paced enough. Like it didn't feel very intense. It felt like just sort of a puzzle, really. I don't know. I do admire it though, which is interesting. I love watching other people play it, but it's a game that when I play, I feel like, I don't know, can't really get into it. Or I always do the things that you kind of want, the story wants you to do. Like, and I feel like I don't really play it my own way, which is kind of weird. Yeah, some levels can take a while, but I like the. Yeah, I must admit, I really love the concept of it. I think it's really cool. I'm not sure what it is that sort of. I, I don't know why I sort of stopped playing it. I think it was. I don't even know if slow paced is the right word for it, but it's I don't know. I don't think I like the way the sort of gameplay mechanics, like the actual way you control characters, and I don't know. There's something about it. I wish I could articulate it. But it is a good game, and yeah, like I do really enjoy watching other people play it, which is interesting. And I feel that's more interesting than myself playing it, which is interesting. Okay, so what do I do now? This Doodleblob's going a bit crazy. I've got a lot of organic shapes, and I want to start putting a few more stricter, harsher, sharper shapes here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap an object around it, and it's going to be a sharper object or something like that. And it's not going to just wrap around the thing. It's going to sort of go like this. I shall start there. Okay, this is going to be kind of weird. Okay, let's do that. I think the makers of Hitman are actually doing a James Bond game now. I could be wrong, but I reckon I could get into that. I reckon that would be I reckon they'd be a good developer for it. Yeah. Let's go like this, and I was wondering what was missing there. I was like, hang on. I know I need to do something there. Yeah, I could be wrong. I think it's them. I think they're the ones, because it's Eidos, isn't it? Who do... Yeah, Eidos do Hitman. And yeah, I think they're doing James Bond. I could be wrong. But that would be... I reckon they'd be a good developer for it. Yeah, it's one of those games like... I kind of respect it, but I don't... For some reason, it just doesn't sort of ride my vibe, or my vibe doesn't sort of resonate with it. There's a few games like that. It's like zombie games. Like, I have no reason why I wouldn't like zombie games, and I think there's some really cool ones out there. Like there's Dying Light, and that just had a sequel come out. Dying Light is actually really cool, but I don't know what it is. Every time I'm playing a zombie game, I just get utterly, I don't know, just bored of it. It's like, and there's actually a truth. I started playing The Last of Us, like the original one, and I sort of got about a third the way through, and I just couldn't play it anymore because I was so utterly bored. And it's kind of funny because people love that game, and I actually love the developers for Uncharted. Like, that game is really fun. I know some people don't like it because it's a bit, I don't know, maybe it's a bit too easy. But there's just something really... I really love the game mechanics. Like, a gun does what a gun does. It doesn't... You don't have to sort of get, like, a special, like, level to actually make it work. I've watched a lot of Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight. Oh, God, what's that? I've heard of that one. I can't quite remember. Oh, you've got me curious. I'm going to have a quick look. Let's go to DuckDuckGo. Dead by Daylight. Oh, this game. Yeah, I remember this now. I remember seeing it at least. It does look interesting. I wouldn't mind checking it out. Is it one of those like roguelike games, or am I just dreaming here? It might be. I'll have to explore that one. There we go. It's like 4 people trying to escape. You have to restart generators and escape. Oh God. It sounds like Saw. um, there you go. Maybe I'll check that out. There's so many cool games that were just sort of announced. Like God of War 2 was announced, and I loved the first one. That was so fun. If you've never played that, you absolutely must. That's a really good one. Just it's such a solid game, and I actually haven't played it for ages because I didn't want to. You know when the game's so good, just like a little bit like a film and a TV show, you sort of purposely don't watch it for a while because you kind of want to forget it. So you have to sort of be disciplined in that sense. Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel about God of War. I've sort of purposely not played it since the first time I played it because it was so good. I wanted to, the next time I play it, I'm going to really enjoy the heck out of it. Okay, let's go like that. So I'm going to try and make these fall a little bit in alignment with its block. So these circles, I call this caking. So it's like having a pattern on a cake, and you're sort of slicing the cake in half. That's not a professional term. It's an mlloyd term, and you should be grateful for my terms. My terms and conditions. Let's go to a dot like that. Okay, cool. I'm not sure if I like this dot pattern. I was just in a dotty mood. I went all UK for a second there. For no reason. It's alright, it's not so bad. I think it would look better these dots with a colour in the background. But I'm not entirely sure. Mind you, I do like this. I think this is a good decision having that. Just sort of helps me keep that cocktail of sharp and soft. Let's go like this. Now I can't just do another hole because this has got a fair amount of holes now. But what I would like to do is some kind of, I'm thinking of doing like a pattern to kind of help fill out some of these other areas. Because how far are we in? We're about an hour and a half now. Okay. So I started the stream a little bit earlier because I feel like every time I start a stream at 9, like by the time I reach the end, I get pretty exhausted. So I'm going to just maybe see what half an hour does. Okay, so if I go like this, do I want to do that? Okay, no, I need inspiration. Let's bring up our previous one. Let's have a look. Added some holes. That was a kind of cool thing I did there. I could sort of build a pattern off a vine or something. And I do like adding leaves. I should add leaves. I might not do it for this blob, but I will add it for another blob, I think. Oh, this could be a good way to... I like that. I might do that here. Okay, so let's get rid of our reference. Sometimes referencing your own doodles can be a great way to sort of generate, not so much generate, but it's a good way to sort of get out of the current habits that you have. So let's do this. I'm going to create that, and then I'm going to just carve it in like that. We're just going to keep adding these rolls of fat. Okay, and then we're going to do that again. Cool. So I couldn't help but laugh this morning because, yeah, I'm always sort of in tune with what New South Wales is doing with its sort of COVID response. And I found it really funny today. It's not even funny. It's almost kind of shameful. But their premier has just been like, you know what, we've been doing this whole sort of daily conference thing, sort of keeping the community, up to date for a good while now. But we've got a record number of cases, and we've got a growing tally of deaths. So we think it's time to sort of stop communicating as often with our with our people. And I feel like the whole day I've kind of been in a weird sort of state of just utter disbelief. How on earth could someone be like that? Oh yeah, we've got a record number of cases, we've got a record number of deaths. Let's just chill out for a bit. We've been working a bit hard. And we'll just we won't do these daily conferences anymore. We'll just take it easy because we need the break. I'm that really took me by surprise. I honestly think she has no expectation that those cases are going to go down, and she's so concerned about her image that she just wants to try and disconnect her face from that growing number of COVID cases, because when it comes election time, people are going to really, you'd hope, they're going to remember this, surely they're going to remember this, although probably not. But yeah, that really surprised me this morning. I didn't think I thought that would be like political suicide, but somehow she did it. And I don't know, the media sort of just accepted it in a weird way. They definitely reported it, and maybe they're just in utter disbelief as well. But it just felt really weird. I thought no one would ever do that. I could never see someone doing that. Okay, let's do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do, a little bit similar to the other sketch I did, I'm going to add just a little bit of final lines here to kind of emphasize that this layering thing is sort of happening. So I'd love your opinion, Dr. O. Is this like with this kind of, do you think this kind of content is something I could do like every Friday? Because I want this to be like, I'm thinking of making this like a thing that I do every Friday. So every Friday I do like maybe one blob. But is it entertaining enough, or do you think I should sort of keep switching up? Because you think it is? Okay, cool. I'll still on Wednesdays sort of do, I don't know, products or just random sketches like I've kind of been doing. But I like the idea of Fridays being for Doodleblobs, just for now, maybe for the short term. Because they're kind of fun to do. And be cool to see something from start to finish. Yeah, especially something I think that ambitious, because that one was interesting. That took me weeks to do. And it'd be fun to try and do it here. Although I realize I've sort of got one problem that I need to address. This layer count thing's going to probably cause me some grief. So I'm curious of how I'm going to actually handle that. I might have to sort of keep switching intermittently between different projects to actually overcome it. Because usually with colors, I like to have maybe like one or two color layers. And that's kind of my thing. But if you've got like 2 layers for the outline, I'm already at 5, so I'm kind of running out of space. Yeah, true. Like this one here only allows for 3, which is kind of weird because I've got 2 layers there. It won't let me add a third. It's like, yeah, that is strange. But the reason being is because it's such a large project. It's actually huge. So when you're doing posters and you want to do like high quality prints, you generally want a higher count of pixels. So a lot of the other sketches I've been doing, like I could have like heaps because they're actually relatively small sizes. But the larger you go in layer size, the lower your layer count becomes. So it's all about sort of RAM management. So that's kind of the challenge. And so the way I went about it last time, I did all of the illustration and then I did the color afterwards. But that's kind of boring. I want to try and add color during my streams. So I'll probably try and do all my illustration first in one stream and then add color afterwards. But I'll also try, I might even just try closing the layer and reopening it because there's a truth. Maybe even if I close these things down. I had Infinite Painter open, that couldn't have helped. Nothing. Okay. It's going to be a problem, I think. But we'll figure it out. Hopefully. So I'm actually thinking of copying this and, well, not so much copying it, but having this same thing happen over here. So I'm kind of liking that. But what I should do, well, that's actually a cool idea. I could intersect that with maybe a shape. Let's see how that goes. No, I think it's because it's too close in proximity to this one, so I probably won't do that. But what I will do is I will do this. And that looks ridiculous, but there is an idea here. Okay, let's get that eraser out. We're going to carve a nice thin strip out of this doodle blob. And then I'll probably just angle some lines like so. Let's have a look. How does that look? That looks that'll look better, I think, once I've got some sort of color in there. When I've got some depth, I think it'll look quite nice because I'll be able to make this part darker. And that'll give it the impression that it's sort of like a hole kind of going in there. Let's go, we'll tidy up some of these lines a bit. Let's go like that. And what I might do, just to ensure my pencil is charged and my voice doesn't give out, and also that I stay fulfilled with drink, I shall quickly go to an intermission and I shall be back shortly. Thank you for hanging around, and I shall be back. Let's see if I can mute properly. I'm still getting used to not like ramming the microphone to mute, so I'm going to click this and I shall see you soon. And I'm back. There we go. Cool. And I think I'm unmuted. I do believe I am. There we go. Cool. So in the break, I also actually closed the app and reopened it. And I've got another layer. I've restored another layer, but that's the limit I've got. I can only do 3. So that's cool. If in doubt, open and close the thing. Turn it on and off again. That age-old story. Let's try. So I've got my a little bit more workable 3 layers now. Hopefully that'll save me. Okay, let's go like this. I'm not really used to drawing from this angle now that I've sort of gone from this angle the entire time. So hopefully I can kind of get over that. I don't want to go too. There we are. Struggling with this side for some reason. I'm not sure why. I've got to sort of remember it doesn't have to be too, how do I put it? Too in order, if that makes sense. It can be a little bit more, I don't know, I suppose variable. Because if you do everything too, like I was trying to make these match directly those, but then I thought, well, hang on. Why? Why do that? That's such a pointless thing. So let's try and fix that. We'll just make it really, just want it to look relatively good, relatively crisp and clean. And it's very choppy at the moment for sure. Let's go like this. And then I might tidy up some of these loose ends. Make them a little bit more rounded. Or at least consistent. You know, I was thinking of having music behind my drawing, but I'm not really sure. Because first of all, it would be, I'd have to create it, because that's how anal I am with all this kind of stuff. I want everything on this stream to be my own content, like the music, the arts, the videos, everything, even the overlays. It all has to be sort of done by me. But at the same time, like doing 2 hours of music would be quite the 2.5 hours as well, and I'd have to make it sort of not distracting at all. And making background music can be harder than you think. It's actually not just about turning it down in volume. You sort of have to make it really non-distracting. Too many melodies and too many complicated drum loops can just make it super difficult to sort of it's too much noise to sort of compete with the vocals of you talking over the top of the content. So some people make really good background music. I've always been pretty average at it. I think it's because I'm a sucker for just a good melody. That's sort of always been my goal when I make music, is to sort of add sort of memorable melodies. There we go. This is starting to look okay. It reminds me of something, but I don't really know. It's like a fossil or something, but I'm not really sure if it is like a fossil. It's, I don't know. Maybe it's a Pokemon I'm thinking of. I feel like my knowledge of Pokemon is better than my knowledge of actual things. I suppose that's a normal thing for when you're a YGen kind of kid, aren't you? Okay, this line doesn't quite add up to the thickness of what's over here, and that bothers me. So I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to add a little bit more thickness to this one as well. A little bit to this one. Let's have a look. How's that kind of looking? There's something about this area here. I think if I go, maybe if I change the shape a little bit. Like that, it might look a little bit more passable. Yeah, okay, I think the more I sort of curve this around, the better it's starting to look. So I'll do that. And it's looking very messy at the moment. I'm sort of just hacking into this, seeing if it'll work. But it should work okay. Yeah, okay, I'm liking that now. One last thing I'll do for this particular area over here, I'll sort of add a few more details like that. Do I want to do that? Maybe not actually, because it doesn't quite match up with what's happening over here. But what I might do, just a little moment of inspiration there, maybe I'll add some holes. Just a chain of holes. Chain of random holes, just like that. And then I can do the same on this side as well. Just because this area was a bit empty and it needs something to kind of fill the space. Okay, that's kind of cool. I like that. I think those circles just add a little bit of interest. They complicate it just enough. And I could even actually go like this. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that actually. Adding a bit of form to that. Oh, do I like that? Oh god, I'm having one of those moments again. I think I like that. Looking back, if I do it just a little bit nicer, if I wrap that around a bit, I think that could look okay. See how we go. I'll sort of tolerate it, and if it annoys me, I'll get rid of it later. I think it's already annoying me. Undo that, and what I will do, I haven't given up on the concept entirely. I think it's just my execution of the style or this concept. If I do that, I've then sort of solved that problem I was having earlier, maybe. Or maybe I just abandoned having this sort of, I'm questioning whether I have a sort of like an under ridge kind of thing here. And you know what, no, I'm gonna stick to that. I think that was where it looked best. Just didn't quite work. An idea, but didn't work the way I intended. Okay, and I shall fill that bit in. I shall make that like so. Let's add the inner part of these circles. And they will look better when I add some color. So I'm not going to add any texture to the inside because I feel like if I do that, I'll be delving in a bit of finesse there that probably just won't work. So I'll avoid that one. And I'll actually just quickly clean up this little hole at the top there. Ooh. Water, there we go. God bless the water. I sort of, for a while there, I was following this, I was really diligent with this water tracking app, and I've already stopped. It wasn't working out. I just couldn't hang on to this water tracking app for the life of me. It was too much of a regiment, like trying to commit to that much water. And there were times where I'd be doing some work and I'd just sort of hear my belly go, just like shaken up with all the water that I've consumed. It felt wrong. I don't think it was a good way to be. I sort of realized that with this circle here, the wall of the circle should probably be more on this side. And I might even change the wall of this circle. I might not even have a wall actually. Yeah, I kind of like that a bit more. Okay. So now I've got this gap, this big old gap here, and I've got to try and figure out that gap. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. Okay. So first of all, I'll fix this little hole here, just like that. And so this could go either way. I'm thinking I want to carve into it again because I haven't done that too much in this sketch. So I'm thinking of doing this. It's sort of like cornering it off, breaking it up into, because that's the thing about doing doodles. Sometimes the best approach is to break up these larger doodles into smaller segments. And so if I do this, I could have something pretty cool going on here. So I'm thinking of having this sort of just like an inlet, like that. An inlet? That's not what an inlet means. Having it kind of like a little bit recessed, like that. Yeah, that works. I like that. So then there's just the question of what I'm going to do with this. So I'm thinking of adding a doodle just to this sort of corner segment. And I think I've made this line a little bit too thick as well, so I'm just going to thin it out a bit. Okay, there we go. So the question with this part is, what do I do? I'm tempted to draw sort of like a 2D doodle in this more recessed part of the image. And so that can sometimes be a little bit more challenging, especially when you're trying to wrap it around that 3D shape. But it might be kind of cool. I'm going to go to this triangles one. There we go. Cool. Let's try. I'm going to revert to some good old-fashioned doodling techniques that I actually learnt on Skillshare, funnily enough. I can't remember what the person's name is, Karen Duquesne, and so I learnt a lot of this sort of 2D skill, this sort of 2D doodling technique from her, and then I kind of put my own spin on it. Triangles. Okay, I'll put in a triangle just for you. I feel like if I do that, every single blob is going to have at least one triangle, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's sort of like a repetition in patterns. Maybe that's what it needs. It might actually work really well if if I break it up with maybe a triangle pattern. Let's go like that. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, Dr. O. It's always a pleasure having you here, and I hope you do genuinely enjoy this. I hope you're not just being that super awesome Chad dude who just is here to help out the cause of making me ascend to greatness in the pursuit of being a Twitch megastar. There we go. I shall do that, and then I need to add some triangles because it's a request of the great Dr. O, and I think it's a pretty good request actually. So by breaking up this larger segment with these sort of repeating circles, I'm kind of doing what I did before by taking this larger sketch, this larger complicated sketch that requires a lot of work, and I'm just sort of fragmenting it, and that way I can sort of just focus on these smaller areas, and it just makes the whole thing a lot less I don't know, intimidating in some regards. I have no art talent whatsoever, but I'm loving this stream. Super. Oh, well, thank you, man. And I still disagree about the art talent thing. I do think that triangle suggestion was gold, and I think it's actually a good suggestion now, because there are, once again, a lot of smooth and organic shapes where I'm drawing right now, and I think it needs something a little bit sharper. So even though I think you're joking when you say triangles, you're often always saying it at a time where it kind of makes sense. So I'm thinking though this triangle is going to be a little bit different. Or actually, you know what I could do? I could just have like a triangle poking out like that. It could work. Actually, you know what? No, what I'll do, I'll stick with my original idea. I'm going to draw a bunch of triangles. My idea. It's not Dr. O's idea at all. No, it's mine. But it's going to be sort of like a pattern that, so I'm going to develop within these triangles, just like that. And then I'm going to add a little doodle, I don't know, sort of like a repeating pattern within these triangles, like that. These kind of remind me of, I don't know, chips for some reason. I will be filing for copyright, taking the stream down. Oh God. I knew it was going to happen. I needed to get a copyright strike one time. There we go. I feel like when you add triangles in this way, it makes it just look a little bit Aztec-y, and it's kind of cool. Do I want to add another triangle there? I feel like it needs something. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll simply move it. There we go. That's better. That's more in proportion. And I might even do a cheeky rotation there. Do I want to do that? No, I'll keep it like that. It was better before. But what I am thinking of doing actually is, this may fail miserably. I'm going to grab this little triangle, and then I'm going to warp it. I'm going to make it rounder. So it sort of wraps around this kind of shape here. Of course, when you warp something like that, it makes some of the lines, like you'll notice this line is a lot thicker than that one. So I'm going to try and amend that by just sort of carving into it again, polishing it up. And let's have a look. So we're doing pretty good for the time. Usually color takes a lot less time for me than these illustrations. So I think I should be able to color this in within the session. That is, of course, if this project allows me to color things in, or if it's like, nope, too many layers, and just shuts me down instantly. And that could very well happen. But at the same time, we'll get at least some of the color done. I'm liking this actually. I think this is a good, this always reminds me a little of these kind of shapes. They remind me of you know, biology class where you'd have kind of, when you were sort of studying up on things like endocytosis and exocytosis, where you'd sort of have the cell kind of eating up things like is it proteins? I think. God, my biology's coming back to me now. Let's go like that. That's actually kind of cool. That wasn't really intentional what I did there by creating this sort of weird 3D shape there, but I like it. I think it kind of works. I actually had this idea. I say it's my idea, but it was actually pretty much copied from another artist that I'm following. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Well done. You got that. And what is it? The photochondria is the thing that does photosynthesis. Is that what it's called? Photochondria? I can't remember. But I found that stuff fascinating. Like, I really did. Yeah, I don't know why people find it so dull, but I just think it's amazing that in your cells you have all these really tiny micro organs. I think that's just really nuts. That's such a cool thing. I should try and do a stream with Louise or Aldemone, because she's like a scientist, isn't she? So maybe that could be a point of discussion. Okay, so this is actually pretty good. I like where this has gone. I think I'll leave this doodle there, and then I shall add some color to it. But I think for a first doodle, that's pretty good. I can't wait. Like, it's magic when it all comes together, when you got all the different doodles done. But now I shall add some color. So, and the good thing is I've actually still got 2 layers left, so I think I can kind of get away with this now. Usually 2 layers is all I need. Just a layer to sort of separate the base of the image, and another layer to sort of add the smaller elements over the top. And then when I add that, I can kind of add some of the depth. Okay. Oh, thank you, Dr. O. Thank you very much. So what I shall do, I'll probably focus on, do I want to focus on the larger bit first or the smaller? Okay, you know what? I'm feeling like a lilac color, and I'm going to take a risk here. And I'm going to just color that in like so. Just like that. Actually, you know what? No, I can speed things up here, can I? Go reference. I've got to get in the habit of doing that. I learnt that only last year, that I could actually reference a layer. And yeah, kind of, it's such a strange thing, because it's like one of those things that every artist does, but it took me ages to sort of figure that out. But yeah, it really helps. Okay, so let's go like that. And I'll switch on alpha lock, and we'll get some color in there. So it's sort of creating a bit of a gradient there, but we'll also add some shading to it as we go. And that will allow it to look a little bit more three-dimensional. So we got that. So I'm going to try and do a lot of the, how do I put it? I'm going to do some of the larger areas of the doodle. And I'll probably, Yeah, I'll fill that in as well. That didn't work. That's right, I'm going to switch off alpha lock. Let's go into there. Cool. And let's get that nice purplish color I had over here, and I'll once again switch on alpha lock. There we go. And I'll begin blurring again. So trying to create that sort of form. And it needs a little bit here, I think. Oh, I do like adding color. It's just such a satisfying thing to sort of blend all this stuff in. And it never gets old. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter how many times you do it. It's still something ever so satisfying about just adding colors and just blending them in. So I was sort of mentioning that. I was going to, inspired by another art streamer. That tastes good. Inspired by another art streamer, I was thinking of doing like a coloring book that I can sort of put into sort of like a Patreon tier. So because with Discord you can if you are a Patreon, you can actually get sort of certain Discord privileges. So I was thinking of making like a Discord Patreon tier where you can actually get like the outline of each of my sketches so that you can sort of color it in while I color it in. If that makes sense. It's a interesting idea, but yeah, I'll have to get some followers first. That's my number one goal, getting followers and just building up this channel bit by bit. And I really do need to figure out a better way of doing it because TikTok ain't working for me. I think what I should probably do is just focus all my efforts perhaps into Instagram, where I already have a bit of a following, and maybe trying to do some sort of collaborative live streaming or something there to get people into here. I feel like once you get those first like 50 followers, you sort of, I think the TikTok kind of system works better for you because you just need to find yourself a way to shoot to the top of the your particular category, isn't it? So that's kind of my goal, really, is to try and get to the point where I'm getting like maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 or 10 people in a chat room at once. You will get that. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that vote of confidence. Because I haven't really gained many followers these last couple of weeks, so I need to figure out a way to really work it out. But thank you for your words of encouragement. Okay, cool. So that's sort of the base of it done. And I'm actually thinking as well of, because this is cool, but there's a little bit too much purple. So I'm going to change the color of this one, make it a little bit redder. Just like that. Cool. Do I like it? No. I'm going to go back. And this time I shall start filling in some of the other details. So whenever I do a darker purple, I generally always like going a nice green. And so I'm going to put a bit of green into this one because they just work really well, those colors. So the question, of course, is, because I want to put the green into an area that has a relatively high amount of space to sort of help balance out the purple. So I think doing this in green would be a good idea. And once again, I could use that, couldn't I? Yeah, I really do think of color a lot like a puzzle. It's very sort of like a Sudoku puzzle. It's about not having too much matching, if that makes sense. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then I'll probably go a nice soft red. That's why I sort of backtracked a little bit there by changing that back into purple, because what I'd like to do is basically fill this section in red. It's actually more of a pinkish red, but it'll kind of work, I think. And I'll create a bit of a gradient there as well, so I'm going to go like that. I'm going to push it up just a little bit towards the orange, just like that. And then I'm going to go alpha lock. I'm going to, oh, do I like that? No, I might make it a bit lighter and a bit less red. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So it's probably hard to see on the capture there, but there is this very slight difference in color there. But I'm going to kind of grade that in just like that. And I want to go, I'm thinking nice sort of vibrant orange and yellow for these little blobs over the top. So now that I've done that, I shall get a darker color here, because I want to kind of try and create that feeling of 3D. There we go, and I'll do it here as well. And I'll then grab a darker color of this. So it's kind of funny with when you got more layers, you can kind of create a sort of what I call a shadow layer, which is where you basically, you can do all this really quickly. But when you don't have the luxury of layers, you kind of have to do it a little bit more manually. And it's one of the reasons why drawing with all these restrictions can often be good for you, I think, as an artist, because it kind of, I don't know, I always think about Dragon Ball Z when I think about that. In Dragon Ball Z, there's this scene where Goku's training under like 100 times gravity, and I think he's going to like to Namek or something, and yeah, by the time he's finished, he's like super jacked, and it kind of works for him. And that's how I feel about drawing under restrictions. It's Goku training under all that extra weight. Okay, cool. Once again, there's a very slight color difference there, and it's hard to see on the camera because the exposure is a little bit off, but I'm sort of blurring it in to create just a little bit. I don't know, I feel like those gradients tend to look a bit better. You don't want to keep all your colors too flat. You want to keep them a little bit variable, just from time to time. Okay, this layer is starting to cause me some grief. I'm gonna undo it actually, and I might do this a different way. Once I'll sort of return to it, and I'll add that color later on. I think that'll work a bit better. Now here I can do any color I want, but I'm gonna go like a nice deep kind of reddish purple. Let's go like that. I'll hop in here. I might just put this into the base color layer. Okay. And then I want to try and also match the gradient. So I'm going to blur that to try and match this part of the gradient as well. Let's try and do that again. Just on this side. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. And what I want to do, I want to grab this color. I do like this kind of tone. And then I'm going to fill this in. Now I really want to create the feeling of depth with this little sort of crevice, this hole here. So I'm going to grab a deeper tone of that. I might push it more towards the blue so it's more saturated and vibrant. I'm going to go like that. Then I'm going to blur that in. And then once again, I'm going to go even darker, just to really try and get that feeling of depth in there. Yeah, that works. That works pretty well. Awesome. So we got that hole in there. We're sort of making good headway, I think. It's not looking too shabby. Now it's time to add a little bit of, you know what, I'm feeling confident enough that I'm going to merge these two color layers. So I think I can lose a bit of flexibility here, and that allows me to have a bit more flexibility by just allowing me another layer. This is micromanagement of layers to a new degree. Oh yeah, I really need to get a new iPad, because then I could actually have more RAM. Because a lot of those iPads now, this has 2 gig of RAM, which isn't a lot. And a lot of the, I think the base level iPad Air now has 4 gig of RAM, which is pretty, oh God, I drool over that. I know there's all these other cool features as well, but the only thing I care about is just RAM. But at the same time, I want to stick with this as long as I possibly can. And that's purely just because my environmental conscience is getting the better of me there. I want to try and stick to my tech as long as possible. There we go. But I'm certainly looking forward to the day when I can upgrade and I can just do wild things with all that RAM. That's going to be so cool. Like I could probably make this 10 times faster, I reckon. Well, no, that's rubbish. I could. That's just me being ridiculous. There's no way I can make that 10 times faster. Okay. It would still take me ages just to sketch the outline and pick my colors. Cool. Certainly make it easy though, I will say that. That's looking okay. So I will probably create a bit more depth in another layer. See how we go. Or I could just use a bit of alpha lock there actually. That'll do it. Yeah, if I go at the top here, I'll switch that to alpha lock and I'll go a nice deep vibrant orange, try and create a bit of shadow underneath the thing like that. And so this will once again just give it a little bit of form and give it that sort of sense of 3D that I'm kind of going for. I don't want to look too 3D, but I want it to look, I want to get the message across that it's sort of like a blob wrapped around this object. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. Okay, there we go. I'll go a finer brush for this smudging here. And I'm actually thinking of changing the color on the top half of this, this sort of zigzag. Because I think it's just a little bit too, yeah, I don't know, it's a bit too yellow. Because it is yellow. If I go like a nice beige or something, just play around with the colors a little bit. Or if I go sort of like a blue, maybe like that, because that would be contrasting with the orange. Might look okay. Maybe a little bit more vibrant. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go this color. That looks way better. It's the spicy orange combo. I feel like I've been avoiding the spicy orange color scheme because I've been doing it too much with his artwork recently. But it is arguably two of the best combinations of colors you can get. It's just so much fun. Now what I will do, I'll add a bit of I'll sort of go a lighter blue just at the top there. I think that'll kind of blend okay. This reminds me a little bit of Mambo for some reason. There we go. Or Reg Mombasa Mambo, to be precise. He sort of did a few of those kind of crazy colors. Okay, cool. There's this really cool shirt that was popular around the sort of early noughties, and it was made by this guy called Reg Mombasa, and it sort of used this kind of color scheme I'm using here actually, this very orange and blue kind of thing, but it was this really beautiful kind of Australian kind of landscape picture. A really cool artist, definitely one of my bigger inspirations, and he still does art and he's still very good. He's also a good musician actually. So let's do that. Cool. So I'm liking those. I think they're pretty cool. Oh, I haven't done that one. There we go. I knew there was something else missing. I probably should have done the blue on a separate layer, because that would have given me more, that would have made it a lot easier to sort of blur in. But once again, I'm really restricted with those layers. So I have to be kind of conservative a lot of the time and just take it a little bit slower. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with slowing down blending and coloring in, because it is definitely my favorite part of sketching. And it's just too much fun. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to return to this color actually, and I'm going to use this for the vine on the inside. Now this could go well, it could go pretty badly actually. We'll find out. But yeah, I do feel like there's a little bit too much purple in this piece, and so I'm trying to sort of use a bit more green to kind of balance it out. But at the same time, I think I'm still at one point going to need to just somehow maybe fade this into a different colors in one way or not. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. There we go. It could be through, once I merge all the layers together, or the color layers, it could be a situation where I just kind of, how do I go about it? It's more like, I'd probably add another color layer over the top of it and do like a multiply effect or something, just to sort of warp the colors just a tad. That's hard to describe, but hopefully I'll be able to show you. We're sort of coming close to 11, so yeah, I probably will end it once I sort of finish coloring this in. I think that's a good landmark. Okay, so that's pretty cool. I shall start blurring that. And I think once again on the camera you're probably going to have trouble seeing the colors there, but they're looking quite distinct for me, and have faith. Have faith. Okay, I'm going to need another drink. I've got 2 cups. 1 cup down, 1 more to go, but I've only got about 15 minutes I think of this stream, and then I can move on. Okay, well, so I want to fill these. I've got to figure out the internal color of this thing, and I'm thinking I want to do a yellow, so sort of like a shining yellow on the inside. So before I do that though, once again, to try and maintain my layer count, I'm going to now merge everything back in again. Normally very risky, but in this you just sort of have to do it. And how are we looking? I suppose from a compositional perspective, this will look good if it's next to maybe a completely different color doodle blob. Well, I'm drifting. I'm drifting way off there. Let's change my overlay. There we go. And so, yeah, I'll go for a nice yellow just on the inside. And do I want to go separate layer? Yes, I do. Now it's kind of important with this one that I kind of get a nice sort of gradient happening on the interior, because otherwise it won't look... I want this to kind of look a little bit like a building. So where it's sort of light on the inside. I mean, I don't know what type of building this would be. It'd be a really weird building. But you know when you look into a building and it's got the light switched on, it's sort of glowing? That's kind of what I'm going for. So I'm going to maybe create a slight gradient there. Not too much, but just enough. So you can probably, once again, barely see that. I might see if I can go manual. Maybe that'll make it a little bit easier for the colors to come through. There we go. Cool. And let's go to our smudge tool. Switch off alpha lock because I'm getting a bit of white there and there. And to really make it look like it's lighting up things, I'm actually going to do a trick later using what's called a multiply layer. And so that's kind of cool. It's a nice little trick. It's always kind of impressive when you use it. It sort of helps you find the right color for lighting things up, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'll blend that in. Okay, cool. That's looking okay. So now that I've done that, I'm got to figure out what color I'm going to do for this. So I'm thinking of going like a sort of turquoisey kind of color, like sort of like that. I'm still trying to balance it out and adding a few greens in. So I'm going to go like this. We'll see how it looks. It's starting to look okay. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's helped me balance out the greens a little bit. And I might even just use this color like that. And I've realized I actually haven't got the vine going through. There we go, cool. That looks a bit better. Okay. I will actually just stick with a purple for the interior of these blocks, like that. And just like I do in every stream, I'll probably polish off some of this off stream so it doesn't get too ridiculous. But yeah, what I'll do, I'll go in here, I'll pick a slightly darker and a slightly bluer tone. And I'll put it in this one. There we go, the right layer. Cool. And then I'll just blur in the gradient. So I'm trying to create a bit of, trying to make it look as if it is actually changing in how much light it has. So I'm going to merge this down, and then I'm going to do a trick. So I'm going to do a trick here. This is called a, I call it a multiply layer. So it's basically applying, it's changing the way that this layer, this top layer, will affect the layer underneath. And so I'll take a drink here. Lovely, there we go, cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this light color here, and with this multiply layer, I'm going to just sort of do the interior of this line. And so hopefully this works. So it's sort of making it a bit of a green color, I've noticed. Which wasn't what I was actually expecting. But if I kind of reduce the opacity of this, it also kind of reduces the effect of this multiply layer. And it kind of looks as if that color light is shining on the object, if that makes sense. It's a more noticeable effect when you're sort of dealing with things like landscapes and you've got like maybe a sunrise. That's where I tend to use it the most. But sometimes it can just add a little bit of extra, I don't know, detail perhaps to this. Cool, that's looking okay. Now I've just got one last piece to color in with this and we should be pretty much done for the night, I think. Cool, so what on earth do I color this in? I might try and use these colors, and I shall, oh that's right, I shall merge this layer down, bring up a new layer, and let's see, do I want to go pink? I feel like a blue would be good here, a red and a blue. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go a blue. It's actually going to be not sort of a turquoise blue, but just a good old traditional blue. So like a slightly darker than a sky blue. Because I haven't really used this color a lot in this blob, and I think it would work pretty well here. And then I'm going to grab that, just do there. What I will do as well, I shall remove the red for now, because this will help me color in this blue, just so I can get that alpha lock thing happening. Okay, cool. So now I've got that. I'll go to a nice dark blue, and I shall just go, do I want to go from the underneath? Maybe I do. Yeah, I'll do that actually. That looks a bit better. And I won't put too much rhyme or reason here, but yeah, let's switch now to alpha lock so I can kind of blur these things a little bit easier. There might still be some trails of red in there, which might actually cause me a bit of havoc. That's okay. Great, so now I've got that kind of gradient happening. I will add some red, that sort of same reddish color I had before. And I will merge that down. Let's add that new layer again. I could actually change the color here and it might look kind of cool. So what I could do is like a nice vibrant orange, just to change things up. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So I shall make a little bit more yellow. Cool. And then I'm going to make this alpha lock as well. I'm going to just go like that, blur it in. And then I shall take a slightly darker color of this, and I won't go too much here to the edge because I kind of like having this I like this lighter red tone. I think that's kind of cool, but I'm just doing this to create a bit of variance in the color. And we're almost done. The only thing left is to do these little Dorito chip things. These Aztec Doritos, which is what that's what I'm calling them. There we go. And I'm thinking, because green is kind of like a common color with this one, I'm going to do these green. Let's merge that layer down, add another layer on top. Cool. Okay, and then I shall add maybe a dark blue, sort of something like that. A nice teal look, nice. There we go. And I'm going to actually keep the same color here because I like this color combination. Just like that. What I will do, this will be kind of cool. I'm going to, will I do that? I'll merge that down, I'll add another layer, and I'll sort of create a slightly darker tone here, like that. And I'll use the eraser to sort of get rid of that blue. We'll get the gradient out of the blue. Cool. Guys, something so relaxing about just drawing these doodle blobs. I'm loving it. And I hope other people who are maybe watching this back over YouTube, I hope you're loving it too. And yeah, if you are watching this on YouTube, give me a follow on Twitch, and you can help this channel grow quite significantly by doing that. Okay, cool. And that is where I think I'm going to leave it. There we go. That's my first doodle blob. And bravo, looks fab. Thank you, Dr. O. Ooh, you know what? I say that and I've just forgotten to do this. I better quickly do that before my OCD gets the better of me. There we go. I knew there was something else we're getting. But yeah, I'm glad you like it, man. It's I do love these sketches. They're so much fun. And they're so nonsensical and just weird. And yeah, like when you see it all in conjunction with everything else, it really does look amazing. So yeah, that's my first doodle blob, and I'll probably do this on the next Friday night as well. I'll probably start at 8:30. I might start at 9. Still kind of figuring out what my start time should be for these late night streams. But yeah, let me know as well what you prefer, so I can sort of figure that out. And so I'll finish it just by doing one more thing. I shall promote this. So if you want to learn more about sketching, you can actually sign up for free to my Skillshare course. That's actually found on my website. You can use the QR code there on your secondary device to just bring up the link, or you can also find the link on my website, mlloyd.com. And yeah, I'll actually teach you how to draw images over your like photos. It's kind of fun. And so I should also sort of teach you how to pay attention to where the shadow is in your photo and how to make the shadows of your like illustration match that. So it's really clever. It looks really cool. And you'll use a lot of the sketching techniques, a lot of what I've kind of demonstrated here as well. Also, if you really love what I do, you can also subscribe to my Patreon, or Patreon I should say. You can become a patron for my Patreon, and I have 2 tiers at the moment. I have supporter, so you can actually support the work and continuation of the channel. You'll get 15% off my live stream collections. That includes that cool duffel bag I made in this last stream and 3 desktop wallpapers. If you're a gold member, you actually get a not only do you support the work and continuation of my channel, just like the supporters, but you get 25% off the live stream collection. You get a free code for that Skillshare class I was talking about, so you can use that beyond the 1 month free trial. You get a free desktop background every single month, and also some Discord privileges, which don't mean anything at the moment, but maybe one day in the future they will. But yeah, that's Patreon, and yeah, that's pretty much me out. So thank you again for joining. I look forward to seeing you in future streams or future recordings, however you prefer to consume your mlloyd artist content. Thank you, Dr. O, for joining once again throughout the entire stream. It's always a pleasure having you here. And yeah, I shall once again raid some poor streamer out there. But yeah, that's me. I'm mlloyd. This is mlloyd Artist. You can find me on Instagram at mlloyd Artist and Patreon at mlloyd Artist. Adios, farewell, and thank you for watching.